welcome, my friends, to another edition of Videoland Express. I'll be your host today, Mark. Like we all know right now, Frankie's son, isn't in as of yet because he's taking care of some business. But as soon as he's done, he promised me he'll be back in October. So hopefully that's going to happen. And hopefully somebody will be here besides me in October. Because, just in case people are making any statements out there. So today is Saturday, the 22nd of September. Thank you, everyone, for coming and watching the live show today. Today's Saturday, the 22nd, at 5 o'clock. Let me break the rundown here for the dates of the channel. If you happen to want to know what channel we're in, let me see. I thought I had it here. Well, if you're watching live, you're probably watching on Manhattan Neighborhood Network. So you can always catch us there. Let me see. I thought I had it right here. Yes, here it is. We go live on Lifestyles Channel 2 in mnm.org on the web. If you want to catch us live, we're also Spectrum 56 and 1996, Vios Channel 34, and RCN Channel 83 every other week, Saturdays at 5 p.m. And if not, later you can catch us on YouTube. I'm going to try to put some links so that you can catch this show, because I try to do 10 minutes more after the hour after we're done, which is live, which is about 5:28. As soon as we're done with the 5:28 timeline, then I'll do 10 more minutes, and we'll put up upload on YouTube. I already started uploading it, so people who follow me on Facebook can see where it is. I have it down under, for now, until Frank comes back, that he could put it on Videoland Express, but he hasn't been able to because I think we haven't been able to communicate because he's been busy. But once you could put it up, you could see all the shows I've done, while Frank's been away. And what else? Yes, aside from the links, like I said, it's on you. I've been putting up on YouTube under Tough Life .com. So if you can't find it there, maybe when Frank gets back, you'll be able to rewatch the show if you're not able to watch it live. Or if you missed anything, or if you would like to see the 10 minutes more of special edition, like they say, the special edition that they usually have on these amazing DVDs. This is one of my other favorites. Let me see if I can put it so that it doesn't get blocked. All right, there you go. Street Fighter, one of my other favorite films that I like to see. Let me see if I can put it over here. Yes. One of my favorite films I like to watch, and like I said, with all the other films, this is one of the better video games to movie adaptations, with one of the better bad guy villains, Raul Julia. Amazing actor. They say a lot of times that he made this film for his kids because he wanted his children to enjoy something that he would think they'd be fun for them to watch. Here's to you, Raul. Oh, and then later on the show, I'll talk about the Elephant in the Room, Predator, which came out 2 weeks ago. If you happen to see it, hopefully I won't give away too many spoilers. But like I said before, I was going to go see this film, and everyone knows what you're getting, what you're going to get when you go to see a Predator film. You're not looking too much for high concept, but you're looking for entertainment, a good old time in the theater where they just blow things up, and I think that's amazing. I enjoy watching stuff like that. But that's what you're gonna get when you see a Predator movie. Anybody else who expects anything different is in for a big surprise, I guess. All right, so then I guess we'll talk about it towards the end of the show. But Now I'll talk a little bit more about the other stuff that's going on. Trailers that have been coming out recently. The latest trailer that's come out is by Marvel, which is Captain Marvel. And I think that if you look at YouTube, you can probably see the trailers. They're all over the internet. Some people have been questioning it. Other people have been saying, this is great. People are split between the middle. It's amazing now. We've gotten to a point in our society where we're questioning movies as if they're in the importance of everyday comment. It's sort of like it's replaced sports. Sports used to be the big thing, or boxing used to be the big thing back in the day, where people used to care about, oh, what boxer's going to fight who, this is the most important thing. Now we're all looking at trailers and movies and questioning them as if they have a bigger importance in our lives, in our social construct. But folks, they're just movies. They're made for entertainment. Hopefully you enjoy it. Hopefully it makes you forget about things that are going on, and you'll just be entertained, and it'll whisk you away, and you won't put too much weight or value behind it, because you can't put too much value or weight behind a TV show, a movie. It can't be the thing that says to you, oh, this changed my life. Maybe a book can, but even books, you have to be careful that a lot of things are made up. They're taking through a perspective of the person who's writing is trying to captivate you about the book, but don't expect him to necessarily tell you the truth or the whole truth. So you can't let these things influence you. I hate to say, they're more for entertainment, and people look at them as if they're supposed to be the end all of everything, and they're supposed to influence them in their life decisions, sort of like Inception, or like Christopher Nolan's Inception. Like, oh, this made a poignant change in my life, and from now on I'm going to look at life through this spectrum. No, you can't really. You should take more or less everything you see or read with a grain of salt, and think of it as more as entertainment for your mind, and that's it. Don't take it more serious than that. Don't think that it should be get into this big fist fight. If you don't like the film, if you don't see anything of it, fine. You could say, yeah, it's not that good. I didn't enjoy it, and this is the reason why I didn't think the film had any merit. But aside from that, I don't think it's worth attacking people about it, or having people lose their jobs about it. Unless they're the ones who made the movie and the movie's no good, and it was done for bad commercial reasons, then maybe those people should be losing their jobs. All right, so I guess I'll continue with other aspects of what's going on, other aspects of pop culture. All right, like I said, the trailers, the important trailers for Captain Marvel came out. They look really significant. I think a lot of it now is going to be played in the 90s. So now you're just going to see, if you've seen the trailers, I don't want to give too many spoilers. So if you've seen the trailers, you see that Captain Marvel lands on planet Earth. And here we don't know whether or not they play her as an Earthling or as a person who's from outer space. But the trailers are leaving a little ambiguous. And on top of that, they also start showing Nick Fury, I should say Samuel L. Jackson, and when he was younger, and showing him before he lost his eye, which I think is funny. But you have to be careful sometimes. You can't give too much exposition, or you can't just tell everybody. They said that this was one of the areas with the Solo movie. It's like, oh, you want to know, you want to see Solo do the castle run in this amount of parsnips? We'll show it to you. You want to know why they call Solo Solo? Here, we'll show it to you. Sometimes there's something to be said for leaving something to the imagination. You know, Rodney Dangerfield used to say it all the time to comedians. He used to say, please leave a tip. Don't just leave the table barren. And that's what happens. When you give too much information, there's no tip. There's nothing left on the table. And it's always good to have things on the table. And I'm sorry, this is one of my problems with certain movies. The movie's good, like Solo, all right, it's an okay film, but they just gave out too much information. And by giving out too much information, you left nothing to the imagination. You left no reason for Solo to have any mystery. And it's always good to have some mystery. It's always good to have mystery in everything within life. Marriage, someone's life. It's the less you know about somebody, sometimes the better it is. Let me see, any other trailers that we would say that was really interesting? Aside from that, that's pretty much the only trailer I saw out there. Aside from, now we're going to have the duel of the Captain Marvels. This is what I'm saying. You have on one side Marvel's Captain Marvel and DC's Captain Marvel, which was originally Captain Marvel. Now it's Shazam. So now you'll see them duel between each other and see who's left. Other rumors out there, they're talking about how Henry Cavill, who is Superman, was let go or being asked to leave. Who knows how truthful this is? This could all be something generated to create more of an interest and buzz in Superman or the Justice League, where they're saying that, Henry Cavill's gone, Ben Affleck's gone. But I don't really know what the truth is all about this. This is just information being generated out there, sort of like, I'm sorry to say, like a wrestling match to bring you in and make you find interest in these topics. And I'm like, okay, if you find this interesting, good for you. I know that episode 9 doesn't come out till next year in December, so we're not going to probably see any trailers for that. Most of these other films are coming out, but there have been leak clips of Joaquin Phoenix as the Joker. I'm assuming that's the Joker they're talking about, that Joaquin Phoenix is going to be playing the Joker, but these are sort of snippets of them working on the process. I don't know if they really have something here, or whether it's just something that they started creating as rumors. But aside from that, I've seen the clips on YouTube. I'm still not sure whether or not they're real or not, whether or not they were working on the Joker movie or not. So I can't really say. But it looked really convincing. It looks pretty funny. It would be funny if it's just something that they made just to make us believe that that's the movie that's coming out. But folks, nowadays you can't even tell what's news anymore. They're just going to make stuff up so that they can bring us in and play us for fools. All right, so they're coming out with more trailers of Venom. Venom is due out on the 5th, October the 5th, which coincides with New York Comic Con. If a lot of people out there know what New York Comic Con, it's one of the bigger conventions that they have in the city for pop culture. But aside from that, I'm surprised that, when they do New York Comic Con, they do it for this short weekend, which now they move from Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And people pretty much peter out around Sunday. But it's just amazing how it's gotten so big, it's so expensive, and so many things have changed. It used to be easy to get tickets like that, and then scalpers started getting involved, and they started selling tickets at a premium to fans who really cared about it. Sort of like Beanie Babies or Funko Pops, where they make you believe that something is so rare that you start paying so much for it. Please, people, let's not do this. And to tell you the truth, if they wanted to make something huge like a New York Comic-Con and play it all year round, they can. It probably wouldn't be that expensive just to find a space where all year round they could have it in a convention center where they could just sell you stuff. If that's what you really want to buy is stuff, and have panels where people talk to you about stuff and show you movies and previews, they could have that all year round. It might be cost for the rent, but there's a lot of spaces that aren't being used at all that I'm surprised there wouldn't be prime real estate just to open up for a convention selling and not even charge you, because most of these conventions are tantamount to, I'm sorry to say, it'll probably offend a lot of people, tantamount to being like a flea market, because you're buying stuff, you're spending your own money, and then you're paying for a ticket to go in and spend your money. It's not like they're really giving too much stuff for free. If they give you anything for free, it's probably a tote bag where you could buy stuff, put stuff in that bag, and then take the stuff home, and then come back, like George Carlin would say, and buy more stuff. That's pretty funny. And like I said, all these trailers are being pumped out one after the other, just like coming out. Godzilla, Shazam. The next one up is Aquaman. Everyone's looking forward to that. Avengers. And someone was asking me before, I had blanked out when Aquaman was coming out, but now I remember, since I wrote it down, Aquaman's going to be the 21st of December. We'll be able to see it before the end of the year, which is going to be great. Anything else for next year? They still haven't really spoken about it, so it's still up in the air as far as seeing any trailers. But it's sort of funny. It's like they have a set date. It's like building a house. They have a set date. They're supposed to come out with that movie and set date, and then before they give themselves a year or two to finish that film, and then boom, they have to have that film by that date, which is hysterical. So which means Venom finished wrapping up, and that movie's going to be coming out. From what I've seen in the trailers, I pretty much know what I'm seeing coming in. It's not going to be the best piece of film making, but it's going to be entertaining. We all know what we're getting when we're coming in, when we all sign up. It's not like saying, oh, I didn't expect this was going to happen. Folks, we all know. We all know what we're going to get. We all know it's going to be, like they say, a super hysterical, incredible, theatrical show. So that's what you're going to get. You cut out those initials and you know what you're getting. It's in the contract. The other film, Venom, I'm going to see, even though I'm going to be going to New York Comic-Con, which is going to be in 2 weeks, I'm going to be going there on a Saturday, because it used to be to the point where you used to be able to pay a ticket, was inexpensive, and you should be able to get a 3-day pass cheaper than you would if you bought every single day. But now they got rid of that, and they want you to pay for each and every single day, which would be anywhere from $55 to $75 a day. So, folks, I'm not going to do that. No, come on, give me a break. I want to go. I love the buzz around it, but there comes a point where I don't have the money, and I used to ask to let me in as press, and they used to, and then when I stopped going, I lost my press credentials to go in, and now I can't even go without paying. So now, instead of going the 4 days, I'm only doing 1 day to check it out, maybe do some filming and say, oh, this is what it is, and then I put it up on the internet. Next film out, like I said, it's going to be Aquaman. The trailers have been dropping, and so far it looks amazing. It looks, from what I've seen, if you watch people on YouTube, it's amazing how they have classic breakdowns and everything. I saw this breakdown, how they were breaking it down, Aquaman and Black Panther, and just saying how certain beats are very similar, how the trailer is very similar to the Black Panther trailer. And I was like, yeah, it was originally the Aquaman movie, but hell, Marvel was willing to invest the money, put it first, take that idea of combating for the kingdom, and attacking the surface world or the free world. And Aquaman had that theme, but I guess people at DC, they didn't feel confident with the material, so it lost out. It wasn't able to spend the money in order to get it out there first. So hey, it's your fault, DC. I said it before, and I'm saying it again. DC probably doesn't want to hear this. They're probably tired of hearing this over and over again. And next up is Godzilla, King of Monsters. I know everybody loves to see that. Everybody's saying, "Oh yeah, there's a big community in King of Monsters." I was a big Godzilla fan as a child growing up, and then when they stopped running the Godzilla films, I sort of stepped away from it because it started getting harder to see Godzilla films. Most of the stuff we had to import from, I would say Japan, and you had to get the VHSs, or was it VCRs, the VHSs, and you had to find the tapes, trade tapes, go to conventions in order to buy the DVDs because they weren't selling them. And then all of a sudden, America jumped back in the bandwagon and they started ruining it because it's sad. The Americans don't know how to treat the topic. It's very interesting. I love it, but they don't know how to handle it. It's not their baby, so they don't really care. They're trying to be more commercialized in order to sell toys. I was hearing somebody was saying, "Oh, the problem with filmmaking nowadays is that people try to throw too much social construct in the movie, and that's what ruins the movie." No, folks, that's not what ruins movies. Movies have been ruined by people, too many cooks involved in the process, and that's what ruins a movie. A lot of the movies that I've seen growing up that I think have been ruined, I don't want to name names or franchises because they got mad. It's because they try to make too much money. They go back to the well one too many times. They try to commercialize it. They try to sell toys, and that's when you ruin a film. It's not because, it had a social message and this was a social message of caring and this ruined it. No. What ruins movies, it's like when you have two people in the opposite ends and they don't agree with the path of the movie, why the movie's being made, if you're making the movie for money or if you're making the movie for artistic reasons. Those two principles, like I say, director, producer, writer, the writer sometimes doesn't have any power in the process altogether, and the executives, they sometimes have to get together and agree on this is what we're going to work on and not fight within themselves. For example, they have Zack Snyder doing the film, or they have this other director and they throw them out, hire somebody else, and then the film loses direction. That's when you get a bad movie, not because you decided to get a social agenda. No, movies are ruined when you have no focus, when you make it for a quick buck, like everything else in life. When you do it for a reason other than what it should be there, you sort of ruin it. There's so many great examples of this that there's not too many time to talk about, and I don't want to be the person saying it because then the heat will come after me. So I'll leave it at that. And next will be Shazam. Shazam looks great. Shazam looks a bit like they're trying to throw in too much things about the norms and YouTube and kids and all things that kids are interested, like Fortnite, dancing and blogging. So they got to be careful with that. You just because this is what's popular doesn't mean this is what people want to see in films. You could always destroy a film by hyping it too much, commercialized. So you have to be careful. Next thing is Avengers, the 3rd of May. It's going to be incredible. I haven't seen anything, but I think it's going to be good. That's all I have to say. Well, we're almost wrapping up, so let me get into Predator. So Predator comes out 2 weeks ago. I go to see it in the theater. You know, I'm lucky enough to see it in a theater where people aren't doing fighting, but eventually they said they'll have theaters, movies in your house where your first run you'll pay maybe like per pay-per-view $50 and you'll see it. Maybe that might be worth it. Maybe it might be worth getting a few of your friends together, paying $50 in a pay-per-view aspect, and seeing the movie at home. Or if they let you do a virtual where you put it on your eyes and you see the movie as though you're a part of the character in the movie, and you only have to pay a regular ticket price of $10, I would still go for that. But enough of that. Back to the movie. All right, so Predator, I thought a lot of things that were in this film were amazing, spectacular. The fight scenes, the hunting, the misinterpretations, the goals that people had. For example, I don't want to give too many spoilers, but in the film, there's conflicts between the hero and people who are there for their own ambitious reasons. And that's where you get this conflict between these two sides. One that's there for protecting his family from the predator or the predators. I wonder if it should say predators. And the other side that's looking out for their best interests, sort of like in the second Predator movie or in the Aliens franchise. It becomes a little bit like that. But, you know, if you don't want to hear too many spoilers, I hope I'm not ruining it for you. But this is where the conflict is. I loved it, the imagination. Oh, well, we have to wrap up. Thank you for joining. Thank you, my friends. Bye. All right, I guess I'll continue because now the live show was over because we only were able to go to 28. So I'll go to 10 more minutes. I'm not talking about the Predator, but finishing up my points with the Predator. And from there, I'll get in some deep dives. Or if I do back and forth deep dives with the Predator and the symbolism behind what's going on with it. But I guess I don't want to ruin too much. There's so many other people out there on YouTube. Like I said, the next 10 minutes that I go beyond will be on YouTube. And if you ever want to watch us live, like I said, if you want to ever watch us live, we're on the internet. It's mnm.org, web channel 2, lifestyles at 5 o'clock every other week. Spectrum channel 56 and 1996. And Vios, channel 34, and RCN, channel 83. At those channels, you can see it live at 5 p.m. every other week. So in 2 weeks, if I'm not still on Saturday, in next 2 weeks, I'm going to be in Comic-Con. So let's see if I make it. If I don't make it, maybe I'll be able to show this show again, or show the first show that I did by myself without Frank. But, you know, like I said, Frank's been doing this for 30 years. We like to thank him for his commitment of 30 years. Not too long ago, like he was saying, they awarded him a prize for showing up and you know, just being able to stand and do 30 years or more than 30 years of his show at Manhattan Neighborhood Network. You know, I'd like to thank, on behalf of Frank, thank everybody who's helped him out, and people who've helped me out, who've worked for Manhattan Neighborhood Network. You know, people like Malik, people like Ann, people like Brian, and so on. You know, there's just so many people who've been able to come in and help out and continue. Otherwise, we wouldn't get the studio the way you see it. You wouldn't be able to see the Predator behind me. Hopefully, we don't get strike down for copyright infringement, as I was saying, because I enjoyed the movie. I hope the people who made the movie don't say, hey, look at this guy, he's attacking our movie, and then just attack me and try to strike it down. No, I enjoyed the movie. I knew what I was getting into when I signed up for the Predator. I enjoyed it. I bought the 2 DVDs they had just recently, before the movie came out, 3 weeks ago, or 3 or 4 weeks ago, they came out with the Steelbook for the first Predator with Arnold Schwarzenegger with his face on it. I'll see if I can bring it in for next week if, I'm not at New York Comic Con. If I leave on time, maybe I can come in. But remember, next week, within 2 weeks, if I'm not at New York Comic Con, if I don't decide to stay a little longer, I'll do the show. If I decide to stay longer, then I won't probably be able to do the show, and we'll do a repeat. We'll probably do the first show I did before I showed up. So like I said, back to Predator. I enjoy it because I know what I'm getting into it. It's sort of like when you play a video game and you say, what kind of video game I want to play? Do I want to play a long adventure, or do you want to play a beat 'em up? Or, these are all terms that if you're involved in this culture, you know what I'm talking about. If you're not, I'll try to explain a little bit more. A beat 'em up is sort of like a Double Dragon, where you just go around punching stuff and going and beating stuff up, and it really has not too much logic, and it's just something where you completely lose yourself in it. It's easy. It's not too much thinking. Not high entertainment. I mean, it's entertaining, but it's not high concept entertainment. It's not like reading a book. Excuse me, I've been speaking for a while, so I have to get a little bit of water to cleanse the palate. And like I was saying, this Predator to me was like a beat 'em up. I go in, it's like a superhero film. You go in, you know what you're expecting. I've seen so much fan movies out there with Predator versus Batman, or when they did the other concept, Predator versus the aliens. I wish they would let more fans do movies like these and take a movie, break it down, and reinterpret it and make it even better, and let them make a little bit of money. And if they have to kick up to you for letting them do it, they should let them do it. It would be great if there was a way for the fans to pay homage to some of these movies, because I see some of the fans, they're the ones who help these franchises continue to exist. Like I was saying, the Steelbook 4 weeks ago came out with the first Predator with Arnold Schwarzenegger. I purchased that, the Steelbook, and also the Steelbook Predators, where all 3 films came out. There was another Steelbook with all 4 films or 5 films, something like that. Steelbook with with 4K, but I didn't buy that. I just decided to buy the last 3 because I really wanted to see the first 2, which were great, and the last one that I got to see that I thought was pretty funny, like a battle royale. But number 2 is up there. Predator 2 is up there with Predator 1. Predator 1 was amazing because you didn't expect to see him, but once you saw him now, you wanted to see him. The Predator being sneaky and going around and killing, and so I think it's very interesting. Oh, I think I got to wrap it up. Okay, so I'll wrap it up. Thank you, everybody. Goodbye. Enjoy.